Hey, love. Welcome in. Take a breath. Let your jaw unclench. Let your shoulders fall away from your ears. You made it here. And this week's energy has so much to offer you if you let it land gently. We're walking. We're going to walk through the energies we just moved out of, the space we passed through without realizing it, and the current frequency we're sitting in now. The one that's stirring up money stories, self trust wounds, and a deep desire to express the truth of who you are. Let's start at the beginning. Last week was a big nudge toward authentic expression and divine direction. Not the polished Instagram version, the kind where you tell the truth even when that truth is, I don't have it in me today. For me, that looked like showing up more honestly with Source and with the people I love. It asked me to get into spiritual integrity, not in a performative way, but in a way where I could say, I want to be someone who chooses compassion over fear, and I'm willing to practice that. I also bumped into that old familiar pressure, the pressure to force creativity. It showed up when I started thinking about Substack. My mind went straight into, if I do this, I'll have to be inspiring every single week. It felt like trying to wring water from a dry sponge. So instead of forcing inspiration into a schedule, I wrote things down. I let ideas arrive without the pressure to perform them immediately. And honestly, it felt like bliss. Clunky bliss, but bliss. Because I'm unlearning years of overriding my natural rhythm. Even my period taught me something. I finally stopped trying to rush it. 7 days is 7 days. My body has a rhythm, and I don't need to perform clarity or productivity inside of it. And then there was the lesson of loosening the grip, especially around money and planning. I've been learning more about Jesus, not from a religious lens, but from a relational one. And in softening into that connection, I started to feel supported in a way I never allowed before. Where did life ask you to stop forcing a plan last week? And how did that actually support your well-being? Right after our last call, we slipped into an energy that felt like insight with no words yet. It's that I know something so clearly in my body, but my mouth isn't ready to speak feeling. For me, the insights were dropping fast. Pattern recognition everywhere. People's stories, the lies we tell ourselves to stay stuck. It was like watching puzzle pieces snap together in real time. But articulating it? My words needed time. I literally started writing down the time an insight arrived just to see how long it would take for the articulation to catch up. It felt like lightning in my mind and molasses on my tongue. And then I tried to share something too fast. We had a family solutions talk, me, Taylor, and Dre. And when it was my turn to share my thoughts, I went deep, fast. The depth made sense to me, but it overwhelmed them. Taylor needed an 8-year-old explanation, a little translating there. And Dre got most of it, but he had to breathe through the layers. That moment showed me something big. My clarity isn't the problem. My timing is the wisdom. And then there was the romantic moment. I told someone I love him. For real. Directly. And he didn't say it back. Not because it wasn't true, but because he wasn't ready. And I had to face this part of myself that wants to convince or prove my love. The part of me that used to feel like if I wasn't understood immediately, I was wrong. But in this in between energy, it taught me something deeper. You don't have to prove what you know, and you don't have to rush what isn't ready. Now, we've officially entered a new frequency, one that always wakes things up this time of year. This is the combination of resource energy and authentic expression, which is basically the universe asking, are you trusting your value or performing your value? This week shines a spotlight on your relationship with money, support, and capacity. And let's be honest, the holidays activate everybody's scarcity wounds. The world starts asking, what are you getting people? Are you doing enough? Are you showing up the right way? Capitalism has turned love into a competition. But aligned resource energy, it feels like I don't owe anyone a performance. My presence is a contribution. For me, the deepest moment this week was when I told Dre the truth about reconnecting with someone. My inner child panicked. I was terrified that the truth would cost me love, because historically, it did. Growing up, the love I received was very conditional. But trusting my value meant telling the truth anyway. And instead of rejection, what came back was support, friendship, understanding, proof that love doesn't have to be earned. That's the essence of this energy. When you trust your value, resources flow to meet you. So some reflection questions that I want to leave you with as you process this energy. Where am I performing value instead of trusting it? What fear-based money stories show up for me this time of year? And what does support actually feel like in my body? Then we have our earth energy, that authentic expression frequency. This grounding energy invites you to stop shrinking, especially around the people you love. The holidays are a season where people water themselves down to keep the peace, to avoid conflict, to stay in people's good graces, so gifts and harmony stay intact. It's emotional people-pleasing dressed up as holiday spirit. But authenticity is a contribution too. For me, sharing my full mind, the depth of how I see patterns, created more ease and connection this week, not less. When I let Dre and Taylor see how my brain actually works, it didn't push them away. It helped them understand me. It helped us problem solve better. It made everything softer. To process this earth energy that we have right now, consider, where do I water myself down? To help us process this energy, consider, where do I water myself down to keep the peace? What truth wants to be spoken this week? What would expressing myself authentically make easier in my relationships? I'd like to highlight some things that will help this week. The first of which are self-trust rituals. Reconnecting to your value, to your body, before making decisions. What is your body trying to tell you? Slow choices, letting insight land before you speak. Honest conversations are going to help this week, for sure. Truth creates clarity, not conflict. It's through open, willing communication that we reach that clarity. Shared resources, it's going to help. Don't feel like you have to carry everything alone. Let people contribute. Let people help you. You are worth it. And the last thing that's going to help is body listening, like I mentioned. If your chest tightens, you're forcing. If it softens, you're aligned. And just as I highlight what might help, I do want to alert you to some things that might trip you up. The first is buying to earn love. Gifts don't replace presence. Rushing your insight might also trip you up. Your knowing is valid, and that timing of the delivery of that knowing absolutely matters. Overgiving might trip you up. Don't try and fix things to avoid discomfort. Money anxiety loops might trip you up. So pause before assuming the worst. One of my favorite questions is to ask, how is this working for me? And the last thing that might trip you up is shrinking your voice. Your truth won't break the holiday spirit. Let your truth have light. This week is here to remind you that you are supported. Not because you hustle, not because you gift give the right way, not because you perform emotional perfection. You are supported because support is a birthright. Because you are connected to something bigger. And that something works with you, not against you. Let this week be a practice in trusting your value. Speak your truth. Let people see you. Let resources arrive without force. And let yourself receive the love that doesn't need you to play small in order to stay safe. Your gentle challenge this week. Let one truth leave your mouth without apologizing for it. And a gentle affirmation. I trust that I'm supported. And what I want wants me. And if this week's energy brought something up for you, a pattern, a trigger, a moment where you realize, ooh, I still shrink there. Or, yep, that's where I don't trust myself yet. Just know that you're not wrong for that. It's human. It's patterned. And it's absolutely shiftable. This is the work I get to do with people every day. I help you recognize the subtle places where you override your intuition because fear feels familiar, where you shrink your voice to keep the peace or avoid disappointing someone. I help you recognize the places where you hustle, overgive, or over people please because you don't feel fully supported. And together, we bring those patterns back into harmony with the version of you that actually you want to be. The version you've been growing into, piece by piece, season after season. So if you're feeling the nudge, that little "it's time" whisper, consider this your invitation to take the next aligned step. Book a clarity call with me. We'll sit together for a moment. We'll breathe together and explore what's really happening under the surface. And then we'll create a path toward rewriting the pattern that's been holding you back from your own alignment, fulfillment, and ease. If your body is saying yes, even a small yes, follow that. You can grab the link in the show notes. I would love to walk with you. Until next time, love. Be gentle with yourself and trust that you're supported in every single step you take.